열정 that no other city can mimic. Global City Busan. We are in it together. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM 부산 영어 방송.
Today we bring to you a report on what to do in case of heavy rain. There's nothing like preparation when it comes to torrential downpour. Isn't that right?
That's right. You must turn off your gas and electricity and quickly evacuate from areas vulnerable to flash flooding.
What should we do if we are already outside?
Evacuate to a safe place, away from construction sites, underground spaces, and areas prone to frequent flooding. If you're driving, do not stop the car. Instead, slowly drive through the flooded area without stopping.
What should we do once the rain stops?
When going into buildings that have been submerged, do not touch electrical facilities and make sure to ventilate, as there is a risk of gas leakage.
We should also reduce preventable damages and prepare for disasters ahead of time by following safety guidelines.
That is correct. You can receive real-time safety information through the Disaster Safety Information mobile app, 안전 디딤돌.
Thank you for all the great information. Remember, your safety is everyone's safety. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM 부산 영어 방송.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
It is the first day of October, and all the rest area meals and snacks. Are you going to plan ahead? Are you going to bring homemade snacks? Other listeners are probably scrambling to finalize food options for this unusually long holiday. For those of you who actually plan the menu or are in charge of maybe the tesa table, I hope you aren't too stressed already. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Wednesday, the 1st of October, here on BEFM 부산 영어 방송. Good morning, Wavers. I hope you're all doing well. And we are going to cover, of course, many news items, including the earthquake in the Philippines. So I did check in with one of our listeners because Benny, he's an avid listener. And so Benny and his family are okay, for those of you who might be wondering. And the countdown. Oh, the countdown is on for the long Chuseok holiday. For those of you leaving town for the long break, this is peak prep time, including packing, but also car checkups. And chances are you are probably going somewhere, whether it is close or somewhere far. According to the Korea Transport Institute, about 4 out of 10 people living in South Korea have plans to go somewhere this coming holiday, with most of them traveling by car. And for those of you who are going somewhere, let's look at the breakdown. 89.5% are traveling domestically, meaning within Korea, and 10.5% internationally, going abroad. The busiest day will be Chuseok itself, or next Monday, when some 9.3 million people are expected to be on the road. But the good news, because the holiday is so long, the number of cars on the road per day, that is going to be kind of spread out. So it's expected to be lower than the holiday average, although we'll go over the worst times to be on the road a little later on in the program. The Land Infrastructure and Transport Ministry is running a special traffic response period between this Thursday, the 2nd, to next Saturday, the 11th. So once again, that's from tomorrow through the 11th, Saturday. So before you hit the road, make sure you check your engine oil and, the tire pressure. That's really important. And any other necessary maintenance. What about your home? Well, according to a private home security firm, the number of accidents and incidents during Chuseok last year increased by 20% compared to normal times. This includes things like break-ins and theft, especially unattended packages. So the company advised that if you have plans to be away for a long time, make sure your home doesn't look it, meaning, no mail, newspapers, or packages piled in front of your door. By having deliveries go to maybe, if your apartment, allows it, to go to the security office, or having a family member, friend, or a neighbor look in on those packages so it doesn't look like you're going to be away for a while. And of course, every holiday, there is an increase in text message scams and phishing disguised as parcel delivery messages. So, as always, never click on links sent by unknown users. Let's be extra careful as we head into the holiday season. All right, tech topic time. Are you ready? Here we go. What are your plans for Chuseok? Are you going somewhere? 자, 웨이버 여러분, 추석 계획은 뭐예요? 뭐 할 건데요? 어디로 갈 예정이신지, or maybe, I'm assuming it's Wednesday. I'm thinking you haven't left yet, but whatever your plans are, we want to know all about them. And I'll share my very simple plans later on as well. You can send in your messages to BFM's live stream, live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform and type in BEFM or Busan 영어 방송 to find our channel. You can subscribe, log in, and chat with our other waivers. Also, from your phone, pound 9050, shop 9050. That's going to cost you 100 won. You can also reach me for free through Kakao Talk. Same thing there. Type in BEFM, 부산 영어 방송 to find us first. Add us as a friend. And then you can send in your messages, your photos as well. And the ways you can tune in to Morning Wave in Busan, there are several ways. First up on the radio, if you're in Busan, 90.5 or 103.3 FM, depending on where you are. I said we're streaming live right now on YouTube. If you haven't checked us out, it's really a different experience. Listening is good, but if you can, check us out on YouTube in real time. You can watch again at your leisure. And also, we're available on the BEFM app and the Papang app as well. It is Wednesday, so who do we have in store for you today? Our lineup. First up, we have Now and Next with Lian. That is in hour number 1. In hour number 2, we have Jennifer for Work in Progress. For our special interview, yes, if you've been tuning into our program, you know that President Lee Jae-myung and Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba, they met in Busan yesterday. So we're going to be discussing this shuttle diplomacy, what this means as Prime Minister Ishiba does prepare to step down. So that's in hour number 2. I'll be back with news overview. It's now 7:06 and this is news overview. Yi and Ishiba agreed to jointly respond to trade challenges. President Lee Jae-myung met with Japan's outgoing Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba in Busan yesterday, where they discussed joint challenges their respective countries face and agreed to jointly respond to the rapidly changing order in international trade. Cabinet approves bill to abolish prosecution. The cabinet yesterday approved the revised Government Organization Act, which abolishes the prosecution services and separates the functions of the Ministry of Economy and Finance, with the bill to be announced and go into effect today. Airport workers launch strike. Unionized workers in 15 airports across the country have launched an indefinite strike starting at 6 a.m. this morning, calling for improvements in working conditions. Kwon Sung-dong and Han Hak-ja file for arrest legality review. People Power Party lawmaker Kwon Sung-dong and Unification Church leader Han Hak-ja have filed for a review of legality for their respective arrests with the Seoul Central District Court to hear their cases today. A powerful 6.9 earthquake hits the Philippines. A magnitude 6.9 earthquake has struck off the coast of central Philippines, killing at least 20 people. That's according to the New York Times, with infrastructural damage reported across the region. And this was News Overview. It's time for Now Busan. We have Sejin in the studio. Let's say hi first. Happy Wednesday already.
Oh,
wow, we are getting so close to that long holiday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes. Well, I do want to ask you, do you have any special plans for Chuseok? Are you going anywhere?
Are you ready?
Yes, okay, here we go.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Since my house is like house where everyone gathered, and now since my grandma passed away,
Right.
and then we are gonna not move into, but we're gonna spend this holiday in somewhere else. So my father's sister has a house, has a second house in Yangnam. So we're gonna meet there. We're gonna have polek. We're gonna have nice lunch. We're gonna have dinner outside, and we're gonna bring everyone's specialty, and then have this kind of
like
buffet.
a potluck kind of buffet.
Yeah.
Nice. So how many people are expected to gather?
My father has 6 sisters, so it's gonna be a lot. Yeah.
Wow. So there are going to be a lot of people.
Yeah.
But what an amazing time to gather, family. That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing. First up, let's talk about this. This is the big summit that went down between the Korean president, obviously, Lee Jae-myung, and Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba. So what happened?
President Lee Jae-myung and Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba met in Busan on the 30th, so yesterday, a little over a month after their meeting in Tokyo, which is kind of proving that shuttle diplomacy between the leaders of South Korea and Japan is really back on track. It's a third summit and a return visit after President Lee went to Japan in August.
That's right. So why is this important, though?
It's especially important because of all trade pressure from President Trump. The two countries which have been under such a pressure can unite in a shared sense of suffering and seek joint countermeasures. Uncertainty lingers over what cards President Trump might play to shake up the trade order. In that climate, Seoul and Tokyo, facing similar pressures, could serve as each other's reference point in shaping their responses.
Right. Any concrete outcomes from this meeting?
After the meeting, the presidential spokesperson Kang Yoo-jung said the two leaders agreed on the need to act together as neighbors and partners in a turbulent world of shifting geopolitics and trade. Then they widened their discussions to new areas like Arctic Shipping Cooperation. They also decided to set up a joint consultative body to address common social issues, things like low birth rate, aging societies, balanced growth, and suicide.
Yes, but not everything was resolved, correct?
Right. Despite 3 rounds of talks, the two leaders have not touched upon historical issues. These issues are still left hanging as unfinished business. But that's very much in line with President Lee's 2-track strategy, leaving history as it stands while pursuing cooperation while it's possible.
Yes. And with Ishiba stepping down soon, how does that affect kind of like the overall picture?
That's another challenge. Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party will elect a new leader on October 4th. And then the Diet, the National Legislature of Japan, will nominate the next prime minister and form a new cabinet. Ishiba might still have influence as a senior lawmaker, but impact of this meeting may feel somewhat diminished given this retirement is nearer. So for President Lee, the key task now is building a good relationship with the new Japanese leader, seeing if this restored shuttle diplomacy can grow into a real virtuous cycle.
Yes, yes. So once again, this was the summit between President Lee, Prime Minister Ishiba. And coming up in hour number 2 for our waivers out there, we have a special interview planned with an expert on this very topic. So stay tuned in hour number 2. Well, let's move on to our next topic. We're going to talk about transportation. There is a new station coming to the Busan Masan line, right?
Yes, Busan City teamed up with Korea National Railway, or KNR, Korea Water Resources Corporation, K-Water, and Korea Railroad Corporation, Korail, to set up this Eco-Delta Station on the Busan-Masan double track line.
So who or what entity is kind of taking charge of all of this?
It's kind of like everyone's got their role. KNR is the main project handler. The city is sorting out permit, civil complaints, and obstacles relocation, while K-Water is supporting the bill and project management. KNR takes design, construction, and permit applications, and Korail is going to run the station once it's up and running.
Yes, yes. Let's talk about the timeline. What are we looking at?
After the Minister of Land, Infrastructure and Transport approved the new station back in March, and the city completed consultations on design, construction, and operation, and they're aiming to wrap it up by the second half of 2028. The Eco-Delta City Station will become a complex transfer center linked with the second Eco-Delta City and will bring significant economic ripple effect around the station.
Yes.
So yeah, once it's open, residents get to Busan Station in about 10 minutes, greatly improving transportation convenience.
Yes, yes. So, excuse me, thanks for letting us know about this new station on the Busan-Masan line. Let's move on and talk about Busan. Our city is tackling the vacant house problem in a creative way.
Yes, Busan has picked 서구, 동구, 사하구 for its vacant house purchase and living SOC creation project. SOC here means community social infrastructure, things like small parks, libraries, or public facilities.
Okay. So what kind of projects are in the works right now?
Like a disaster prevention park in Sahagu, recreating this little one-room space where painter Lee Jung-seop and his wife used to live over in Donggu, and then adding some public toilet in Sahagu.
Yes.
It's all about addressing these vacant houses caused by rapid urban decline and population loss, and transforming those places into public infrastructure so that people's quality of lives get better.
Right. So what kind of message is the city trying to send?
On officials said they keep working to improve both urban residential environment and residents' quality of life.
Which is very important. So yes, thank you for reporting on that. And now we're going to check on how Busan companies are handling this year's long Chuseok break.
Busan's Enterprises Federation found out of 121 major companies surveyed, 53.2% will close for 7 days during Chuseok. This was followed by 29% closing for 10 or more days, 9.7% for 9 days, and 4.9% for 6 days.
Yes. Well, what about bonuses?
51.6% of companies will pay Chuseok bonuses. Among them, 71.4% of large companies and 49.1% of small and medium-sized enterprises would pay bonuses.
I see. And so how do businesses kind of view the economy?
About half say conditions are worse than the last year when asked about the economy. And around 38% say it's about the same. And 10% see a slight improvement.
Yes. So that's a snapshot of the small and kind of medium-sized businesses, especially during this Chuseok holiday. Thanks for all the local news, and we'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Sajin.
You're very welcome.
All right. Here's your traffic and weather coming up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
굿모닝입니다.
Good morning.
좋은 아침입니다.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Major news, local buzz, and expert takes. It's all here on Morning Wave in Busan. Brighten up your morning commute with Morning Wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
It is time for your traffic and weather. First up, let's talk about 만덕대로, which is congested from Sukdung to Deokcheon intersection. It's also backed up on the Dongso overpass from Hwangyong ramp to the old Daegum toll gate. And the top portion of the Gwangan Bridge, it's looking busy right now. It's backed up. It's also slow on Luno Samsungdaero from Myeongji Underpass to Shino Bridge. Currently, it is 21 degrees Celsius under clear skies. It's going to go up to 28 today, slightly warmer than yesterday. Looking at the weather nationwide, clear skies across the countries. However, showers are forecast for northern Gyeonggi and northwestern Gangwon in the afternoon. Big temperature differences still between the morning and daytime high, and thick fog in parts of the country. So please drive carefully. This was your traffic and weather. It is time for Top Stories. We have Haley here in the studio. Good morning.
Do we, or am I just your shadow?
I don't know. At this point, okay. Just in case you're not joining us on YouTube, this is a perfect opportunity to check us out on YouTube because, yes, we match again and we blend in with the curtains.
This is so bland. It's like we are millennial beige personified.
태주님 says we're 쌍둥이. 그러니까 우리 정말 we never plan, and our producer is always like, "How come you guys always match, but you don't tell me?" Because we don't talk about it.
We don't.
We don't.
We really don't. Truly.
Yes. Well, let's get your take on Chuseok. What are you going to do?
We, my family, we don't do anything traditional. So we're actually traveling to Gangwon-do. And I prayed to whatever deity is in charge of the rain.
Yes.
And I may have prayed too hard because, thankfully, so happy that the drought in Gangneung is over. But it's going to rain all across the holiday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it?
Knock on wood that it doesn't. But I had plans to be outdoors, but... Yeah. But yeah. But like my jacket, it's gonna be a little sad. It's gonna be a little drab.
Yes, indeed. Well, we're gonna jump into our top story. We're gonna talk about what U.S. President Donald Trump has said about North Korea.
Right. So real quick, U.S. President Donald Trump remains open to engaging in dialogue with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, and this is an important part, quote, without any preconditions. And this came from a White House official answering a question from one of the South Korean reporters about Trump's upcoming visit to Gyeongju for the APEC summit.
Yes.
By the way, this marks the first time that the Trump administration has publicly said that it doesn't have any preconditions for the resumption of dialogue between the two leaders.
Yes. So that is what was said. And now we're going to talk about the government systems recovery. Where are we?
Right. So this is, of course, referring to that fire at the Daejeon data center. 95 out of 647 affected systems are back up, and that's a little under 15%. This is as of 10 p.m. last night. And the government also yesterday disclosed a full list of these 647 affected systems and their recovery status. Also, if you go to not the Ministry of the Interior and Safety website, because that's down, but they have a blog, 행안부 블로그. They also have a list of alternative services that may be used. Most of these are in-person services.
Okay.
The government also advised the public to be extra careful of phishing and text messages impersonating said government agencies, saying things like, please click on this link for alternatives to, for example, your consumption recovery coupons, which, by the way, you cannot lodge objections online. You do have to go in person, or any other services. As always, do not click on links sent by unknown users. And also, Chief Yoonho-jung, of the Central Disaster Safety Headquarters, directed the police and financial authorities to block these criminal activities in advance and boost prevention activities.
That's right. And it's been so inconvenient, for the general public, but also for civil servants, I'm thinking.
Right. So we are definitely going back to the analog era, especially for some parts, because
Yes.
the 국민신문고, the app and the site, this is still down. You still have to go to the local community center and district offices to get documents or file objections for consumption coupons.
Okay.
Same with property and real estate related documents if you're selling or buying homes at this time. And even for public servants, I mean, imagine whatever company that you work for, the internet is down, which is basically what's kind of happening for some agencies and departments.
Yes.
For example, the 온나라 system, which is where you file purchase orders and get approval. It's like the 결제 system. That's down. So we are talking literal pen and paper to sign off on documents. The major government indicators and announcements may be delayed as well. So for example, every first of the month, the Trade, Industry, and Energy Ministry, they process raw data from customs and announce the monthly export and import data. We're going to have to see if this comes out today.
Yes. And so that is, of course, the status of what's going on with the fire and the recovery. Well, the government and the ruling party announced yesterday that they are moving to abolish this criminal breach of trust. So what is this in Korean, first of all?
Right. So this is called 배임죄 폐지. So according to the Democratic Party DP floor leader Kim Byung-gi, he said that now the basic policy direction of the Democratic Party, the DP, and the government has been to abolish breach of trust as a crime. This is a part of their plan towards more reasonable civil responsibility for economic punishments. So he pointed out that excessive punishment for economic crimes, these have pigeonholed normal economic decisions by small businesses and entrepreneurs as criminal activity.
Right.
And that's been burdening not only business decisions, but also investments that go into said companies.
Yes.
And Finance Minister Koo Yoon-chul said that the government will come up with measures to improve the breach of trust system, but also come up with institutional measures so that well-meaning businesses and business decisions are not hurt by the current system.
I see.
So they will reduce punishment, criminal punishment, but also increase financial responsibility, including for minor violations, not criminally punishing the business owners, but fining them, and not criminal fines, but more penalty fines.
So let's get into the logistics. What constitutes breach of trust?
So this is where it could be kind of confusing because it's very broad, which is why criminally punishing it has been controversial in some aspects. So this is a crime of a person who's in charge of managing another person's business. So for example, it could be a CEO damaging this affected person in breach of his or her duty by gaining proprietary profit or benefiting from a third party.
Okay.
So I'm just going to put it really almost grossly simply. If a CEO of a corporation makes a decision about the company that leads to losses for the corporation, therefore shareholders and investors, that could be breach of trust, but is it criminal? Then that gets into a whole host of details.
I see. I hear the response on this is divided.
Right. So the business side has persistently called for easing or abolishing the criminal breach of trust. However, both political parties say we're more or less in agreement about easing criteria for a criminal breach of trust. Things took a turn when the Democratic Party decided to adopt abolishing criminal breach of trust as their party position.
Okay.
So 배임죄 폐지, because the People Power Party, or the PPP, is of the position that abolishing breach of trust as a crime altogether, that, at least what they say, is this is intended to work in favor of President Lee Jae-myung's case. So why? Because Lee has been indicted for breach of trust related to the Daejangdong and Baekhyundong development scandals while he was serving as Seongnam mayor. So experts say that if the law changes where breach of trust is no longer a crime, well, the charges will naturally have to drop.
I see. Okay. Well, that's why it's it's a big story right now.
That's the full picture.
Yes. All right. Let's talk about this ongoing issue, 전세 scams.
Very much a crime. Very much hurts many people. So the
Yes.
government has been running a massive interagency crackdown against these 전세 crimes. So we're talking about people who buy up homes, usually without much capital, without actual money behind them, and then kind of going MIA. when it comes time for them to return these lump sum deposits. So the Land Infrastructure and Transport Ministry says that they've investigated 2,072 cases of suspicious real estate transactions. They've confirmed rental scams from 179 cases and passed 42 people on to the police for investigations. And this is from the crackdown that was conducted between July of this last year until May of this year.
Okay.
It's also reported 808 false report on prices or dates to respective local governments and 56 cases of potential tax fraud or tax circumvention to the tax authorities. The police, for their part, caught 2,913 individuals suspected of having committed 전세 rental scams and arrested 108 of them. They've also charged 6 organizations and 282 affiliated people with organized criminal activity. And this is really important because under organized criminal activity, you can retrieve profits.
Okay.
And as for the prosecution, it has 96 prosecutors who are dedicated to actively pressing related charges. And they're looking behind and beyond these cases to loan scams and other methods that lend funding to these rental scams.
Okay, so it looks like they're expanding the scope. And so this does seem like this is a pan-governmental approach.
Right. So this is an ongoing national special crackdown with the Land Ministry, the Supreme Prosecution, and the National Police. So last September, the team announced that they've arrested 8,323 people over the past 2 years, including 40 criminal organizations, which truly shows how extensive and deeply embedded these 전세 scams were and still continue to be so. The Land Ministry starting this year has also begun to utilize artificial intelligence that really makes data processing and picking out suspicious activity easier.
Yes. It's an ongoing thing, and of course, so many people have fallen victim, so yes. All right, let's move on and talk about the latest in Trump's tariffs, this saga. The newest tariffs are on foreign-made films or content, right?
So he first alluded to it back in May, but now has doubled down on it. Well, this is from a statement on Truth Social, which said, Trump will be imposing 100% tariff on any and all movies that are made outside the United States. And he claims that film production has been stolen from Hollywood and by extension the United States, saying that this 100% levy will be imposed on movies made outside the U.S.
So this is different from other tariffs as films are more abstract than actual tangible goods or services, right?
Right, because again, those goods, so for example, the latest tariffs on cabinets, trucks, you have specific concrete goods in front of you. You can see where the nail or the wood came from. But what about films? It's very vague. So movies and TV shows don't enter the U.S. via, shipments. They're actually transmitted digitally.
Yes.
It's also unclear how we will define movies made outside the United States. So, for example, will it be on U.S. films made by U.S. studios, but on foreign soil? Right. So is that foreign, technically? Also, a different oddity is the claim that film has been stolen out of Hollywood because, has it? So according to, many experts in the film industry, Hollywood still dominates the film market around the world, not just the U.S. Data from the U.S. Motion Pictures Association shows that American films made $22.6 billion in exports. So this is sold outside the U.S. And $15.4 billion in trade surplus in 2023. And recent reports are noting that these films generate a positive balance of trade in every major market in the world for the United States. So one expert is actually really concerned about the impact this will have. This is American expert in film, said what this policy does is actually, quote, cook the golden goose that lays the golden egg. In Korean, we call that 황금알을 낳는 거위에 배를 가른다.
Yes. All right. Well, staying on Trump, we briefly, covered Trump's 20-point plan for Gaza, which the U.S. and Israel have agreed upon. So let's get into the details and how parties of interest have responded to this plan.
Right. So according to this 20-point peace plan by the White House for Gaza, the key aspects include immediately ending the war, excluding Hamas from future governing role, but also Israel not seizing Gaza any further. So let's look at the more detailed version. Upon the end of fighting, all Israeli hostages, both dead and alive, will be released within 72 hours. In exchange, Israel would release 250 Palestinians currently serving life sentences and about 1,700 Palestinians in Gaza who have been detained since the conflict started on October 7th of 2023.
So what happens to Hamas and also Palestine overall?
Right, so this is interesting. Amnesty will be granted to members of Hamas, but conditions that agree to peaceful coexistence and to decommission their weapons. So they need to give up their weapons.
Okay.
Hamas will not be permitted to take any role, whether this be direct or indirect, in the future governance of the territory. And future governance is key.
Yes.
Israel will not occupy or annex Gaza. Palestinians, will not be forced to leave Gaza, and full aid will be sent immediately. However, what about the longer term regarding Palestinian state? This agreement or this plan is very, very vague on it.
Right.
It's only a vague possibility left until the very end of the plan.
And what reactions have we seen?
Right. So Hamas has received this plan via mediators Qatar and Egypt and said that it is reviewing the proposal in good faith.
Okay.
Many other parties and entities that have been involved in the process, including the Palestinian Authority, the Arab states, plus Turkey or Turkey, they have responded quite positively. They've welcomed this deal.
Yes. Well, we'll see if it really does go down. But thank you for going over all the top stories. We'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
All right, we're ready for our first song break for this Wednesday morning. This is a song request from 친절한 Layla, Gradation by 10cm.
길고 깊어졌네. 나는 점점 너로 잠 못 들게 돼. 글로 적어내긴 어려운 이 기분을 너도 느꼈으면 좋겠는데. 너는 아무 생각 없이 몇 번 나를 지나가며 웃은 거랐지만 나의 하얀 옷에 너의 잉크가 묻어 닦아낼 수 없을 만큼 번졌네. 달콤한 색감이 물들어 조금씩 정신을 차렸을 땐 알아볼 수도 없지. 가득 찬 마음이 여물다 못해 터지고 있어. 내일은 말을 걸어봐야지. 안 들어 내게 불러주기엔 좀 어려워서 나름 며칠 밤을 새워 연습했지만 내게 들려주기엔 무리인 것 같아. 너는 번질수록 진해져가고 나의 밤은 좀 더 길고 외롭지만 하루 종일 떠오르는 너의 얼굴은 방을 가득 채워 무지개같이. 달콤한 색감이 물들어 조금씩 정신을 차렸을 땐 알아볼 수도 없지. 가득 찬 마음이 여물다 못해 터지고 있어. 내일은 말을 걸어봐야지. 바람을 맞고 빗물에 젖어 나의 색감도 그려지겠지만 너는 항상 빛에 반짝일 테니까. 멋진 말들을 전하지 못하고 아무도 관심 없는 그림이 되겠지만 달콤한 색감은 감추지 못해 터지고 있어. 내일은 말을 걸어봐야지. 그냥 이 노래가 어떨까 싶어.
It's time for Now Next. We have Lian here. Good morning.
Good morning, Catherine.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yes. Good. So before we get into our segment and look at some trends, I do want to ask you, what are your plans for Chuseok?
So boring. Nothing unusual. I have families coming in from Seoul because that's what they always do. I have my husband's side, sister in Seoul, my own side in Seoul. So
they're all
Busan is kind of like the place
spot.
where everyone gets together for both of my sides. So it's quite hectic. The key is to not piss off anyone of my parents and just, give them exactly the same amount of time to each other.
That's tricky though.
Because they could get sensitive, 명절 sensitive 합니다.
Absolutely. So
Yes.
you're going to have to play the balancing act.
Exactly.
Being dutiful daughter, daughter-in-law, sister-in-law,
Yes.
etc. So
That is true.
너무 재밌겠다.
What about you, man? Did you already talk about what you're going to do?
Oh no, actually, very low key.
Very
Because we have some stuff that we're waiting on right now. It's admission season.
Oh, right.
그러니까 아무데도 못 가고 그냥 긴장하고 그냥 just lots of cooking. We're gonna have LA galbi for at least part of the menu, and then we're gonna go to 양고기 because my family is into 양고기, so I'm gonna be cooking
Like
up
in the
some-
oven, 양고기?
No, like you know how you go to certain restaurants. I have the whole spread. I have like the little tortilla things cut up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at home it's so good.
Oh,
And I
I
make
see.
my homemade sauce.
Oh,
I wish I could invite all of you. 어쩔 수 없죠. Let's get to now and next. What do you have for us?
Yes. So first, I want to talk about some changing trends in aesthetics. And what people are really doing, how far they're going to get a certain look these days.
Okay.
So let's start over in China. There's a new form of body modification that's making headlines over there for the younger consumers. It's tattoos. But guess
Tattoos?
where?
I'm scared to ask.
Guess where? The
Where?
hint is, I'm hinting at you. Teeth.
No.
Teeth
Really?
tattoos, yes.
Teeth tattoos,
Teeth
that's a thing?
tattoos is becoming a thing.
Okay.
So basically, dentists in major cities like Shanghai, they're reporting this growing demand for what's called the zirconia crowns with words or symbols engraved on the surface. So it's basically, these crowns look like your teeth. It's white.
Right.
But there's a black engraving on it with like a Chinese letter.
So my question is this. So are we talking about like your molars 안에 안 보이는데 아니면 like
겉에, on the side.
Oh really?
Right.
Like 겉에 like
on the side, because it has like some people when you smile, you can see the side. Not on your front though. It's mostly
kind
on
of
the
like
side.
like a grill, but less bling bling.
There's been trends where people would put on crystals, remember, or like retainers with crystals all over. But now they're actually putting this crown on top of the teeth with the engraving.
Interesting.
So I said they're engraving words. Basically, it's words linked to wealth and success.
On their teeth.
On their teeth. So it kind of has a meaning. The meaning is symbolic. It's like grit your teeth and gain success. Is what they're going for.
like 이 악물고.
이제 그냥 성공은 내 거다. 약간 이런 느낌인데.
Okay.
Or some couples ask for, their initials or their lucky number. Yes, and dentists even advertise this engraving as a free bonus if you're already paying for the crown.
Yes.
Because you have to get it anyway.
Yes.
And the cost
How much?
was what I was curious about.
Okay.
It's about 1,000 yuan, which
is?
translates to about 19만 won. It's 190,000 Korean won.
For the engraving?
For the engraving.
Okay, so you're already paying for the crown, but then the extra engraving is 190,000. Oh.
90,000 won. So, yes, so dentists stress that, of course, this has no medical purpose, but they do warn, some dentists warn that, altering the crown surface could weaken it, depending on where the engraving is placed.
Okay.
But because these crowns are prosthetics, not your own natural tooth, the risk is lower than the tooth gems where people, remember tooth gems, those small crystals glued to your real natural teeth?
Why, people? Why?
People say that was a big trend back then with, our K-pop stars. Lisa's done it, or Ning Ning of aespa. But, dentists do say this is a safer version, but, it's very still in the experimental stage.
I want to ask her, waivers out there, what do you think about this? Would you do it? Like, if you could, or like, would you?
if I love tattoos, okay, if I had a daughter who was like obsessed about getting a tattoo,
What would you say?
몸에는 안 되는데 maybe on your crown.
Like 안 보이니까 like not
because
too...
it's not on your real body. And they want to like, engrave something significant if they really insist. I'm not a tattoo person, so I can't say.
And we're not judging. We're just getting people's opinions.
Because it's a crown.
Interesting.
That's what I would say.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Moving
that
on.
is definitely an aesthetic, and I guess like for people who enjoy it. Okay.
Yes.
All power to you. We have some messages. Blanco. 왜
하는 거야? But it kind of looks like cavity almost sometimes. If you look like
빨리
갑자기 싹
보면.
보면은 it's like a black engraving.
글쎄.
뭐지? 김인가? 했는데 it's a
But it's on your
it's
teeth.
hey, wealth, man. Hey,
Wealth
don't
is
do-
good, but I don't know. Okay. Maybe I'm too gondeish, but yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to keep my teeth as natural as possible. Let's move on to our next trend.
So I'm still want to talk about, some changing aesthetic trends in the face.
Okay.
Have you watched F1 recently with Brad Pitt?
I haven't seen.
You
I know
haven't?
everyone besides me,
Oh, right.
apart from me, has seen it.
Yes, and a lot of people who've watched it said was so shocked by how young Brad Pitt looks. And there's a lot of, speculation and articles about how he got a lot of plastic surgery. And that's why I want to talk about the changing trends in how people are trying to erase the visible signs of aging. So the key is it has to be subtle.
Okay.
But effective. That's what a lot of the people are going for.
Yes.
Analysts divide these like interventions on your face into basically three main approaches. I think the first is what you and I what a lot of people are most used to, which is basically surgical lifting. We've heard that a lot.
Yes.
It's called a traditional facelift. And it's basically repositioning your skin and muscle layer together underneath.
It's basically it's giving you
right, exactly. It's a full-on, exactly.
Yes.
It's a very, very serious surgery. The positive is that they can last for years. The downside, the surgery is very long. It takes long, and the recovery as well. It can take weeks.
Okay.
And, but some fans speculated that Brad Pitt had taken this after he had appeared on a movie Wimbledon. No, he appeared at Wimbledon, not the movie.
The tennis tournament.
The tennis tournament, because he had a very tighter jawline compared to a few years ago.
Oh, really?
So even then, people were like, maybe he's getting a face-up. But a second one is more trendy these days. It's a minimal incision lifting called ponytail lift. I've heard this a lot on my SNS and on people around me. Ponytail lift. So basically, it's
right here,
when you tie up your hair,
Yes.
it gets a little bit lifted, and people are trying to go for that very natural looking lift.
Subtle, yeah.
So surgeons basically cut small cuts near the temples to pull up the brow and cheek areas. But then now what's the most talked about
Is what?
is this one was new for me. I knew about fat injections from your different parts of your body, but they're getting donor fat tissue from people who passed away, and they're getting it injected
what?
onto your face. Yes, because they go through all these different procedures to know if it's gonna match, but apparently, it
People are doing this?
stays. Yes,
It
it
stays?
stays. And it's basically it also encourages the patient's own fat to regrow in areas where the volume has been lost. And I was also wondering about the cost.
Yes, how
about
much?
Thousands of dollars just per area. So this is a very pricey procedure
For the uber rich.
for the uber rich, and the only countries that's legal to do this, to get fat from a passed away person, is only in United States, as far as I know.
Okay.
Not legal in Korea yet. So that's another trend. That's quite a little. It's scary to me a little bit.
Oh, yeah,
It's a
definitely.
little scary. But if it works, what works is what works. But have you heard of this one's really trendy, because I feel like it's in all the makeups these days. Not makeup. What do you call it? The 기본 관리, like lotion and cream. The PDRN.
Oh, yeah, that I've heard of.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it's basically the salmon sperm,
salmon.
right? So I use it in my lotion and stuff, but a lot of people get it injected in the skin
Right.
as well. And
I've seen on social media the
Right.
injections, and I don't know, is it the dot looking thing?
Yeah. It's like, it looks like dots everywhere on the first day. So that's, kind of like the trend these days as people are trying to fight time, against time.
Yes.
And all these options basically aim to soften the age markers without changing the person's fundamental features.
So everything you said thus far, it's like the common thread. It's like, it changes. And some people might think, oh, that's kind of extreme. But for others, it's kind of like, well, this is much more subtle than like the traditional facelift, right?
Exactly. Facelift. And I feel like more and more people are talking about this and less people are talking about like actual nose job or like, get your eyes, 앞팀, 뒤팀. Like, I don't think people are talking about that anymore. They like keeping their own features, but they just want to look young. Yes, youthful. That's the key.
Okay, interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, let's move on to our next trend.
Yes, in a different note, I want to talk about spice. Because it's spice, the taste of spiciness. It's becoming quite popular globally.
Yes.
And this is, of course, because of our Korean barbecue and K-pop spread worldwide.
Sure.
Exports of spicy flavored items has been booming lately. And the global hot sauce revenue actually is projected to rise about $3.5 billion this year to nearly $6 billion by 2032.
Wow.
So it's continuing to grow. And, this part of this growth comes from like a K-pop, but also from entertainment industry. Like, have you watched that famous TV show, The Hot Ones?
Yeah.
Where they invite all the celebrities? I always want to try that, right?
Yeah, I would too.
All these different types of, they call it Scoville spicy notes, right?
Yeah.
And that really played its role in making spicy food popular. But, the Korea's most famous 불땡 noodle, cup noodle,
the
right?
fire chicken.
Yes. Did you know at this point it's sold over 8 billion packs, which is worldwide, which is basically the population of human beings on Earth.
Like I saw the news and I was just like,
me too. I was like, 이 정도라고?
그러니까 I knew it was popular, but popular?
I don't even eat one. I've actually never
tried it at all.
I had like one bite
and
then years ago, and it was just like not my thing. I love spicy food, but I'm 8 billion. That's crazy. Yeah. So there's a hype over this spicy ramen, and the brand grew not just because of the taste, but because it was like. It became like a challenge on SNS, right?
Yes.
We were like daring each other, like, can you finish this? Can you finish this type of 불땡 면? And also, there's this other food companies that's been coming up with the line, which is basically the sound what you make when you eat spicy food, right? Yes. Oh, milk.
Yes.
So basically, they started off with like kimchi, and now because it's becoming popular, they have like the tteokbokki ones, and they even came out with like a portable squeeze sauces where you can just basically put this hot sauce anywhere you want.
Wow.
Why is my mouth watering so much as I'm talking about
because,
this? I feel like something spicy in my mouth.
Spicy, that's like actually a reaction, they say, to pain.
Yes.
That's a pain reactor that's triggered when you eat spicy stuff.
Are you a 맵찔이?
I used to be. I'll be honest. When I was younger,
to
I
be.
definitely, and then 근데 한번 진짜 위를 한번 너무 다친 적이 있어요.
Oh, because you had something so spicy.
I had something so spicy.
Okay, may I ask what was that?
It was like right in front of my school where I work. There had this like 불짬뽕, and then I hadn't eaten all day, and then stupidly,
yes.
I took just a little taste of the 국물.
And just a 국물?
Just a little bit of the 국물, but it was so spicy. I literally put my chopsticks and spoon down, and I ran to the pharmacy down the street. And I was like, save me. I was like, and then they gave me, I can't say the brand name, but like the...
Yeah, I know, the liquid thing that's
gel.
supposed to...
Yeah.
I think you're getting some acid reflex.
Acid reflux, right. So since
because you're
then,
so hungry.
I can't.
Oh, that's
it's like psychological. Yeah.
That's a traumatic experience.
Yeah. After that, I was like, just regular spicy, but not
too crazy.
Uber spicy. Yes. So that's the trend, I guess. People are going for this, like the uber ultra, like really spicy and the heat and the spice.
And one thing is that these companies, they're coming up with a lot of different levels of spice because that's what for people like you, I guess.
Yes.
And they're really catering to people who want a bit of the hot spice, but they can't handle it.
I
So that's
cannot
kind of
handle
one of the reasons why it's becoming popular as well.
I see. You can customize. Well, thank you for bringing us these lovely trends. And of course, have a wonderful week. We'll check in with you real soon. Thank you, Lian.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. This was Now and Next with Lian. It's time to wrap up hour number 1. So here it is. This is 우리들의 순간 by Brown Eyed Soul. Enjoy. I'll be back at 8.
가지 말란 말을 못해서 가는 널 붙잡지 못해서 돌아오지 않을 걸 알기에 그 한마디를 하지 못했네 수많은 기억들이 나를 스치며 가버린 날들은 후회 없이 너를 보내기엔 서러운 마음에 사랑했다는 그런 말로는 잡을 수가 없기에 오늘 밤이 지나면 수놓았던 너와 나의 빛나던 작은 설레임 살며시 다가가면 늘 함께했던 우리의 떨리던 작은 기다림 여기대로를 머물기를 하염없이 그저 바라보네 빛바랜 추억들이 다 터지면 가질 수 없음은 미련 없이 모두 보내기엔 서러운 마음에 멀어져가는 작아지는 널 눈에 담을 수밖에 오늘 밤이 지나면 수놓
생각합니다. 시민의 행복이 쌓여갑니다. 이 캠페인은 행복도시 부산의 가치를 높이는 부산시설공단이 함께합니다.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참! 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Welcome to Busan. Let me show you around. Here you can find the world's largest musical in-ground fountain and the world's only UN memorial cemetery. Stroll along the coast and explore the largest mountain fortress in Korea. As well as all this, there are so many tourist attractions, beautiful exhibitions, vibrant culture, convenient facilities, and delicious foods unique to Busan. With all the beauty and charm of the amazing city of Busan, you'll find yourself right at home in this ever-changing tourism paradise. So stay with us a while. Busan, your #1 tourist destination. Your home, away from home. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM, Busan 영어방송.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Welcome back, Wavers. This is our number 2 of Morning Wave in Busan. This is Spotlight News. Yi Ishiba agreed to jointly respond to trade challenges. President Lee Jae-myung met with Japan's outgoing Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba in Busan yesterday, where they discussed joint challenges their respective countries face and agreed to jointly respond to the rapidly changing order in international trade. During the 76-minute summit at Busan's Durimaru APEC House, the two leaders agreed that it is important for the two neighbors to work together as partners and to activate shuttle diplomacy as a foundation for improving relations. The presidential spokesperson added that the two leaders reaffirmed their commitment to complete denuclearization and establish permanent peace on the Korean Peninsula. Cabinet approves bill to abolish prosecution. The cabinet yesterday approved the revised Government Organization Act, which abolishes the prosecution services and separates the functions of the Ministry of Economy and Finance, with the bill to be announced and to go into effect today. However, the bill gives a year-long extension period for the prosecution and the Economy and Finance Ministry, with the two agencies for investigations and indictment to be established by October 2nd of next year. President Lee Jae-myung said that the biggest task for his administration is to take down the partitions between departments, ordering for close communications among government departments. Airport workers launch strike. Unionized workers in 15 airports across the country have launched an indefinite strike starting at 6 a.m. this morning, calling for improvements in working conditions. The workers are demanding a change to their shift system and changes to unfair treatments to employees hired through affiliate companies. The group says they will continue the strike through the holiday until their demands are met. The Korea Airport Workers Federation, which has some 15,000 members will hold rallies at Incheon International Airport and Gimpo Airport later today. Kwon Song-dong and Han Hak-ja file for arrest legality review. People Power Party lawmaker Kwon Song-dong and Unification Church leader Han Hak-ja have filed for a review of legality of their respective arrests, with the Seoul Central District Court to hear their cases today. The Minjung-gi Special Counsel, investigating allegations involving former First Lady Kim Gun-hee, arrested Kwon on September 16th and Han on the 23rd. The review, if accepted, would void the arrest warrants. Kwon is expected to argue that the special counsel's investigation is without concrete evidence, only based on few witness statements. Han's side is expected to cite her poor health as reason for her release. Powerful 6.9 earthquake hits the Philippines. A magnitude 6.9 earthquake has struck off the coast of central Philippines, killing at least 20 people, according to the New York Times, with infrastructural damage reported across the region. The earthquake hit about 17 kilometers northeast of Bogo in Cebu province at around 10 p.m. local time. The authorities have urged residents to stay away from the coast and be on alert for unusual waves. The number of casualties could grow as a full extent will not be clear until daybreak, according to local officials. And this was Spotlight News. It's time for Waga. Haley's back.
Hello again.
Yes. Well, a lot of people are going abroad. We said around roughly a little over 10%. And it seems that the Foreign Ministry has raised the travel alert level for Cambodia after this grisly case.
Right. So I do have to give you a warning. This is a rather graphic story. This is a recent case involving an abduction and torture of a South Korean man in the Cambodian capital of Phnom Penh. So according to local media reports, the police there apprehended 4 Chinese nationals and 1 Cambodian national for the confinement and torture of the South Korean individual in his 50s in the capital city. So reports say that the victim was driving in this rather posh area called BKK1. In his vehicle, he stopped by a cafe and was on his way back to his car when he was apparently seized by the suspects who drove by in a black vehicle.
Okay.
A security guard at the cafe witnessed the incident and reported the police right away. The police then arrested this one Chinese suspect who came back to the scene because the victim had left his car there to pick up that car.
Okay.
So the following day, the police apprehended 3 additional Chinese nationals and a 35-year-old Cambodian driver at a hotel in Phnom Penh. So during the arrest, the police seized 1 K-54 semi-automatic pistol, 2 magazines, 9 live rounds, 1 steel pipe, 3 walkie-talkies, and a rubber holster for the pistol, strongly suggesting that this was premeditated because it also had 112 drug pills, 1 inhalation equipment, and 2 passports. So it seems to have been quite extensive, although the motive for the kidnapping remains unclear at this time.
Right. It sounds like something straight out of a movie. How horrific. So with this, the Korean Foreign Ministry has raised a travel alert for the Cambodian capital city.
Right. So this is definitely unique, but it's not singular because there were also cases of South Korean nationals falling victim. We've reported on it briefly to employment scams and confinement within these Cambodian scam centers. So currently Phnom Penh is under level 2 travel alert, which is to refrain from travel 여행자제, while areas of Sihanoukville, Bokor Mountain, and Bavet are subject to a special travel advisory corresponding to 2.5. So that's 특별 여행 주의보.
Okay.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has advised nationals planning to visit these areas to cancel or postpone the trips if possible and urge those who are already there to relocate to safe regions. So
yes.
honestly, with also the earthquake that you just reported on, because Cebu is such a popular area amongst traveler as well, and then the airport strike. So Chuseok travel plans, some might have to kind of readjust them if possible.
Right. All right, let's move on and talk about the government data service fire and subsequent services shutdown. It's been so inconvenient for many people across the board, but it has also caused loss of business for some.
Right, so now it's become a livelihood issue for small businesses that had their products on the post office mall.
Yes.
So these are small businesses who had been aiming for their Chuseok peak due to, but are not getting it due to these connectivity issues. By the way, the post office deliveries are running. So 배달, that's running, including for fresh food, 신선식품 배송, which resumed at least partially as of yesterday. However, we're talking about the post office mall, 우체국 shopping mall, which is still very much shut down. So for example, there's this 한과, the traditional Korean cookie or snack shop in Chungbuk.
Yes.
They sell their traditional Korean snack gift sets via the post office mall, and they've been doing so for the past about 20 years. So they've made 1,000 gift boxes in anticipation of the Chuseok demand based on demand from previous years. That's worth 30 million won in ingredients, 12 million won in packaging because they do the traditional packaging. Again, it's a small business. That's a huge amount. But the owner says that basically the holiday businesses are supposed to carry them for the entire year.
Yes.
However, that channel has been shut down due to the data center fire. So they're at risk of having to throw away everything.
But I'm thinking this isn't the only business.
Absolutely not. So many of the businesses register and sell on the post office mall. There are 15,000 in total. They're food related. And one of the preconditions is that you're domestically produced and mostly small businesses.
Yes.
So they have these particular seasonal demands and they're geared towards regional specialties. So there's Chungnam Seaweed Manufacturing and Retailer. And here's the thing, they've already received over 1,000 orders right before the fire. But because the database is down, they've already accepted the orders, but they have no access to said information. So they don't know who ordered it, where's the address, where are they supposed to send it. So all the customer information. And here's the thing, these post office shopping mall isn't free. They've paid fees to be featured on the sites. There are ads that went out that they've already paid for. So others who simply even use the post office for their deliveries for their respective businesses. They also complain, minor inconvenience compared to these cases, but imagine having to handwrite your addresses for hundreds of customers.
Big question. What's being done about this?
Right. So, of course, the case is still developing. It's been estimated that some 2,400 small businesses on the post office mall site, they've collectively seen 12.6 billion won in potentially lost sales. The Korea Post will run a report center by the end of next month to take in reports. They will directly buy up some 1.1 billion won worth of goods that need to be used up quickly, like food. And they'll also buy up 2.2 billion won worth of goods and hold online shopping mall specials, not only on their site, once that is restored, but also on platforms like Naver, Kakao, and Lotte Shopping to be able to sell them quickly.
That's right. The after effects just keep on coming. Okay, well, the long holiday is coming up literally really soon, and we have to do our due diligence and go through some security matters.
Right, so again, don't click on unknown links for parcel deliveries or pretending to be your 택배.
Yes.
But also be careful where you charge your phone as you're out and about, especially in public areas like airports and train stations. So according to cybersecurity companies, they warn that there could be an uptick in hackings and online thefts through your phone's charging port.
Really?
Yeah, because it's the downside of technology.
Yes.
So there have been cases of hackers selling your passport photo, hotel information, airline mileage, and other personal information on the dark web. And this is via the charging, like 충전기, the charger that is available almost everywhere.
Sure.
Right. So this is called choice jacking with devices that look like chargers. With choice jacking, it doesn't even require user consent, and that can immediately activate data transmission, often taking your data in a fraction of a second. So what can be done? It is definitely preventable.
Yes.
So it's important to keep your operating system and apps at the top updated level. Yes, regardless of whether you don't like the updates on certain apps, avoid public chargers. So, maybe bring your own cable and bring your own chargers. And if you do, because sometimes that 10% warning is flashing and you got to charge your phone.
Yes.
Your phone, most phones will have charge only, 충전 mode, which will only activate the charging but shut off pretty much everything else. Use that if possible.
Yes.
By the way, and this isn't just private companies that urge you to do this. The Korea Internet Security Agency, KISA, also recently warned against information leaks when using these public USB chargers and also even free Wi-Fi, especially when abroad.
Oh, yes. That's great tips to be safer as we're out and about. And now we got to talk about the Chuseok traffic.
Right. So when to avoid if you are going to be on the road this holiday. Peak travel date will be Chuseok Day itself. So that is Monday the 6th. This is, by the way, according to TMAP Mobility and SK Telecom, based on TMAP's navigation and traffic data from years past.
Okay.
So overall travel time will be, as you said, shorter because traffic will be distributed across that 7-day holiday, except, the one that we cannot avoid, Chuseok Day itself.
Yes.
So going out of Seoul. So out of Seoul to perhaps Busan. Worst times will be October 4th and the 6th, especially at noon on Chuseok Day. It'll take 6 hours and 41 minutes to go from Seoul to Busan. Best time to leave Seoul would be early morning on Friday. That could cut down your traffic time by 2 hours, 4 hours and 22 minutes to get to Busan. Coming back to Seoul, noon on Chuseok Day also will be worst, so both directions. Taking up, get this, 7 hours and 50 minutes. So almost 8 hours from Busan to Seoul. So sometimes it's unavoidable. Sometimes you just got to. If that's the case, again, bring your own charger. Plenty of food.
Yes.
And be aware.
Yeah, you might really want to bring that food because, taking those pit stops at the rest areas, that's kind of like a tradition here in Korea. However, it's getting really expensive.
Right? So according to the Korea Road Authority data, it shows an average of 12.5 increase in top 10 bestsellers at rest areas. And that's between this past June and back to 2021. But up by the largest margin was 돈가스. 25% increase. Because here's the thing. When you have kids, that's like their go-to.
Yeah, pork cutlet.
Right, pork cutlet. So average pork cutlet is now costing you 11,000원. And this is 휴게소. It's not like, the fancy, like you have to line up one of those places. Udon, which is, companion to 돈가스, is now going at 6,500원. Even Americanos, 4,700원, 4,700 won. I know.
Wait, I did the math. So if you get the 돈가스 plus the udon, that's 17,500 at a rest area.
Yeah,
that's expensive.
So now I'm hungry, but also a little upset.
Well, thank you for all the good information, of course, and we'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Haley.
Have a great day.
All right. Now let's get your updated traffic and weather out to you. It's now 8:15. Here's your traffic update. There is an accident to report on. It's on the Puam overpass to Jinyang intersection. There is an accident right in the intersection, so please be aware. There is a broken down car on the Namhae Expressway to the Suncheon direction right near the Kimhae interchange. It's backed up on Gwanmun-dero from Sujang Tunnel to Pier number 5, and there is congestion on the Namhae Expressway from Namsanjeong Station, exit number 2 to Deokcheon Interchange. Currently, it's 20 degrees. It's going to go up to 27. Across the nation, we're looking at clear skies, but showers are forecast for northern Gyeonggi and northwestern Gangwon in the afternoon. Big temperature differences between the morning lows and daytime highs, and thick fog in parts of the country. So, you know what to do? Drive carefully. This was your traffic and weather. It's time for a special interview. Well, you've probably heard by now, but just in case you didn't, President Lee Jae-myung and Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba, they met in Busan yesterday, marking the first Japanese prime ministerial visit to a city outside of Seoul, and namely our city Busan, in 21 years. Although Ishiba is set to step down, the summit was seen as a show of both countries' commitment to strengthening ties with the continuation of this so-called shuttle diplomacy. So we are going to take a closer look at what the two leaders discuss and pledge for the future of South Korea-Japan relations. Joining us today is Professor Terrence Rehrig, lecturer in political science at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and Professor Emeritus at the U.S. Naval War College and former president of the Association of Korean Political Studies. Hi, welcome to the program, Professor.
Well, thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Yes. So from what I understand, this was the third bilateral summit since President Lee Jae-myung took office. So can we take a look at the key agendas? What was discussed this time around?
Sure. And I think that's noteworthy because it was a very broad agenda that the two leaders looked at a number of social issues, including the challenges both countries face in declining fertility rates, in aging society, other aspects in regards to regional development, as you mentioned, disaster relief, et cetera. And those things, I think, were very interesting, along with the expected discussions on trade, on North Korea, on science and technology. And I think when you look at that broad list, it really points to a couple of different elements to that. First of all, I think it shows how the notion of security is much broader than what it used to be. To have demographics be a central focus of this meeting, I think is very interesting, very important, and again, very noteworthy. I think it also points to the broad array of common interests, common concerns that both South Korea and Japan have that raise important reasons for them to continue to collaborate, to cooperate on these issues.
Yes.
The last piece that I would mention in regards to the agenda is simply having the meeting at all, because the institutionalization of this relationship is a big question. And the degree to which foundations can be and have been established, that they can continue in the years forward. I think that's another important part of the agenda of why holding this meeting was crucial in and of itself.
Yes. Thanks for going over those important factors. And when we look at the significance of holding the summit, this time in Busan, this is the first Japanese prime ministerial meeting outside the capital Seoul since I believe former Prime Minister Junichiro Koizumi. That trip was back in 2004.
And so I think that is really, another interesting aspect of this, and another common interest that both countries have in regards to the concentration of population, of government, of business, et cetera, in the two capital cities. And so the challenges of encouraging regional development is another area where these two players can have a chance to perhaps do some brainstorming, see what possible ideas can be generated from one side that could possibly apply to the other. Perhaps there are some ways that cooperation and even investment and collaboration can be mutually beneficial for both sides that can help to spur this regional development. Now, I think the challenge is that it's a difficult issue. And certainly South Korea has tried this before. And so we are at the opening stages of perhaps setting up some possible avenues to working on regional development. But certainly a lot remains to be seen as we go forward in regards to what actually will be accomplished, what will be set up and actually be done in the years ahead.
Yes, yes. I hear that before the summit, Prime Minister Ishiba paid his respects at the grave of Lee Soo-hyun, who was a Korean student who died while trying to save a Japanese man. I believe it happened on the tracks of a railroad. And so this message, this gesture, what do you think this says about the relationship?
Well, I think it was a very important gesture to make. And I think it is important because you look at all of the geopolitics and security, this puts the relationship on a very human-to-human basis. And I think an important thing for many countries to remember.
Yes.
And so I think it was a very important gesture to show honor and respect for what this South Korean did to try to rescue this Japanese citizen who had fallen on the tracks. And, and frankly, this is the type of courage and sacrifice that perhaps we all should be willing to honor and is something important for all of us to take note of going forward.
Yes, very noteworthy, Professor. The summit also highlighted a cooperation on other fronts like trade and also new projects like the Arctic shipping route. So what do you think this signals about the two countries as they try to position themselves in this global economy with so much uncertainty with trade and economy these days?
Well, and I think, again, to return to that notion of common interest, this is another crucial issue where South Korea and Japan have both been affected by the uncertainties of the global economy and U.S. policy and tariffs and such. And their ability, their willingness to work together, to collaborate, to see how they might be able to mitigate the negative effects. I think that is crucial. When you look at both countries' economies, they are heavily dependent on international trade.
Right.
Both exports of finished goods, but also the import of raw materials to fuel economic growth. And so free and open trade, international commerce, those things are tremendously important for both countries and a natural for Tokyo and Seoul to cooperate on and to see where they might be able to work together, but also to perhaps have common strategies that can benefit both sides and international commerce as well. And the Arctic is an interesting future issue in regards to global trade.
Yes.
As we increasingly see the North Pole ice cap melt and that become a more regular, a more open area of trade and resource exploration, it is just natural that Japan and South Korea would have an interest in that and also an interest in seeing where collaboration is possible, as both of them, are well known as key players in the shipping industry, shipbuilding industry, strong navies. That opening of the Arctic Maritime Zone is another important area where they have interests and where they can collaborate on those interests.
Right. And speaking of common interest, Professor, it seems that both leaders, they seem to be on the same page when it comes to their commitment to North Korea's denuclearization. So how important is this shared message at a time when Pyongyang continues to not just reject disarmament, but also, cozying up more so, it seems, to Russia and China as well with the recent show at the military parade?
This is really a challenging issue in that North Korea is not going to denuclearize, despite a consistent U.S., Japan, South Korea position. That possible goal is near impossible to think it can be achieved. North Korea is determined to continue to grow its nuclear capability. The impact of economic sanctions is becoming less and less and less effective, with North Korea's growing ties with Russia, as well as less sanctions enforcement by China and others. And so I think in many respects, despite this commitment to denuclearization as the final goal,
yes,
we are perhaps at a crossroads here where if that's not possible, then what? Mm-hmm. And so while there are clearly important political reasons that the United States, South Korea, Japan continue to insist on denuclearization, the practicality of that goal becomes increasingly distant and problematic.
I see.
But yet what follows? North Korea remains a serious security challenge, and the solutions, the potential answers and policy directions are not easy and not necessarily anything that different sides agree on. And so we are at a very serious juncture here to determine what comes next, because again, denuclearization is not going to happen anytime soon, if at all.
Yes, yes. As we wrap up our conversation today, though, Professor, with Prime Minister Ishiba stepping down soon, there is the possibility that a more conservative leadership might lead Japan. So, in your opinion, Professor, what are the risks or maybe even opportunities for the future of South Korea-Japan relations?
Sure, and I think that is a very important question. When you look a little over 2 years ago now at the Camp David Summit in August of 2023, and all the optimism that flowed from those meetings about trilateral cooperation.
Yes.
And of course, the United States was absolutely delighted to see that was going to happen. But many analysts, myself included, said, well, be careful. There is a lot of a fragile nature to the direction that these better relations have taken over these last 2 years. And to point to just one simply that your question leads to is domestic politics. And not just in Japan, but in South Korea and the United States as well.
Right.
That for all three of those players, for different reasons, there is a possibility that domestic politics could undercut the progress that has been made in trilateral relations.
Right.
And certainly the most current one is what's going to happen in regards to Japanese leadership.
Yes.
The two leading candidates to succeed Ishiba are much more conservative, as you noted, and are they going to continue his enthusiasm for trilateral cooperation? Again, to just return on one last point to what I mentioned at the start, that a crucial part of this meeting was to help continue to establish the foundation to institutionalize trilateral relations so that it becomes much more difficult to derail this in the future. But I would still posit some very significant caution that there are a lot of fragile aspects to trilateral cooperation, but good so far.
Ah, yes. Well, we will, of course, continue to follow what happens between our neighboring country and, of course, with us as well. But thank you so much for coming on air with us and sharing your expertise and your opinions with our listeners today. We appreciate it. Thank you, Professor.
Oh, thank you.
All right, everybody, this was Professor Terence Rerig, and we talked about the latest, that summit between President Lee Jae-myung and outgoing Prime Minister from Japan, Shigeru Ishiba. So what will happen when there is a new leader in place in Japan? That is the big question mark, as the professor pointed out. We're going to have to wait and watch. We're going to take a song break. So this is Man I Need by Olivia Dean.
Talk to me, talk to me. Talk to me, talk to me. Looks like we're making up for lost time. Need you to spell it out for me. Bossa Nova on all night. It's like a type of alchemy. Introduce me to your best friend. I can come slide. already gave you the time and the place, so don't be shy. Just come be the man I need. Tell me you got something to give. I want it. I kinda like it when you call me wonderful. Whatever the type of talk it is, come on then. I gotta know you're meant to be the man I need. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Be the man that I need, baby. Talk to me, be the man that I need, need. Talk to me, be the man that I need, baby. Talk to me, be the man. I'd like to think you feel the same way, but I can't tell with you sometimes. So baby, let's get on the same page. Stop making me read between the lines. Already know I can leave it alone. You're on my mind. Already gave you the time and the place, so don't be shy. Just come be the man I need. Tell me you got something to give. I want it. I kinda like it when you call me wonderful. Whatever the type of talk it is, come on then. I gotta know you're meant to be the man I need. Talk to me, 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 talk to me. Be the man that I need, baby. Talk to me, be the man that I need, need. Talk to me, be the man that I need, baby. Talk to me, be the man.
Welcome back, everybody. I was reading some of your messages about what you're doing during Chuseok. 재봉리님 says, 추석 때 부산에 있어요. 부산이 최고죠. For all of you staying in Busan, me included, yes. So we are definitely going to enjoy our stay in Busan. I know some people, they're going abroad. Like I know one family, they just left, I believe, what days is it? Yesterday. They're going to like Northern Europe for like 10 days. And I was just like, 너무 좋겠다. 속으로, yes. But I am happy about staying in Busan because I don't have to do a lot of traveling. For personally, we have one family member who's in Seoul. She did not get the lottery. There's like for her school, I guess there's like a lottery system. Like if you're lucky, they choose, students' names literally out of a hat. And if you're lucky, they give you free transportation to all the major cities. But she didn't look out this time, so she's going to have to take the bus. I don't know how long it's going to take because she could not get KTX tickets either. And for those of you who are traveling abroad, you've probably heard in the news I mentioned the airport strikes at whichever airport you might be traveling out of. So you might want to leave extra early and do all your research ahead of time. And, there's going to be an influx and the number of foreign visitors as well, including Chinese tourists who are going to be on that visa, free waiver. So just extra patience is what I'm thinking right now. Looking at some other responses, Taejin, I feel for you. Apparently he was planning kind of a father-son trip, I think to Europe, he was saying. But he was playing kind of the little bit of the nunchi game with his boss, and he wasn't able to ask for the time off. So I guess he's going to make up for that by going camping and doing other local things. But I feel your pain. Like, you have your heart set on going somewhere, and then if you can't go, it can be disappointing. And Tommy, Tommy, by the way, for those of you who don't know, he's like a real true Busanite. born and bred in Busan, but because of his job, he lives in Suwon right now. But he said this time around, his parents are traveling from Busan and they're going up to Suwon to visit him and his family. So it's a little change in pace for their family. So I hope you have a wonderful time. And he's kind of in the same boat as me. He goes, normally I go to Busan this year, but cannot because of my second one's test things, meaning she is a 고3러. You know what that means for families? Like you can't go anywhere. I don't know if this is still true. Like even when you're like walking around at home, slipper 신고 쿵쿵거리지 말고. Everyone is super sensitive because 수능 is coming up real soon too. So for all the test takers, and by the way, high schoolers who have their tests after the Chuseok break, not a pleasant thing, right? So, 화이팅입니다. All right, let's get to work in progress. It's time for work in progress. Guess who's here? Jennifer's here. Hello.
What a beautiful day.
Can we just freeze the weather and just have it for the rest of the year?
Beautiful day, but it's an exam period for many students.
I know. Especially for, all the high schoolers, middle schoolers. I actually give my exams to my college kids in week 8, which is like towards the end of October, so well past Chuseok.
Right.
But for your daughter, she's studying exam mode.
Yeah. I'm so glad I'm not in high school anymore.
Oh, me too. Oh, I completely forgot. 조 막내 화이팅 오늘 시험 보러 들어갔지? I completely forgot. Oh my gosh. Oh, she's gonna hate me. Good luck. I forgot what subject you're taking today, but good luck. 네.
Okay, let's
talk about our topic today. What are we talking about?
Well, we are going to talk about a topic that's been on many people's minds, and honestly on mine too recently.
Yes.
How AI is reshaping jobs and job security.
Oh. Are they coming for us? So, okay. If you look at any headline, any story, anything related slightly to tech or jobs, it's all about AI, whether it's, the chat GP thing or, AI handling even customer service calls.
Yeah, it sounds quite frightening, right? And it leaves many of us wondering, am I being replaced?
Am I replaceable? No. I hope not. Yes.
Is my job going to exist next year? Yeah.
Well, is it just like overblown concerns? Or, I don't know, because I hear people all around me saying like, is my job becoming like redundant? Am I seriously, my skills, at least part of my job, am I replaceable?
Yeah, we can't stop thinking about that, right?
Yes.
A recent survey in Korea found that nearly half of workers say that they feel anxious about AI's impact on their future employment.
Okay.
Which is understandable, yeah. And it's not just people looking for work, it's mid-career professionals too.
Oh, okay. So it's not just for like the fresh out of university young people. It's for everybody across the board. What is driving this anxiety though?
A few things. First, AI is great at automating routine, repetitive tasks. And that makes entry-level jobs like data entry, basic customer support, or even some junior office roles particularly vulnerable. And
yes.
second, companies are adopting AI fast, really fast, sometimes without explaining how it will affect their staff. And that certainly creates fear.
I'm sure it can. If your higher ups management is not explaining things clearly to you, then you kind of like are in this kind of like gray zone. You feel uncertain, right?
Become very anxious, right? And if you are already mid-career, you may worry that skills you've built over decades could suddenly become less valuable.
Yeah, what about my people skills? Like, does that count for anything anymore? I don't know. Well, let's talk about Korea specifically. How does Korea compare globally?
Well, Korea's situation is especially unique and interesting. On one hand, we are one of the fastest adopters of technology.
Okay.
So AI is moving quickly into finance, manufacturing, and even education. On the other hand, we already face challenges like high youth unemployment,
Right.
unfortunately. Which means young job seekers feel a double squeeze. Fewer entry job opportunities plus AI competition.
Oh, that's actually really scary.
Yeah.
So glad that I'm not, in my 20s right now. I feel for the young people. What about abroad, though?
In the U.S., researchers found that the rise of AI coincides with the decline in junior level hiring in some industries.
Okay.
Up to a 13% drop for entry roles. In Europe, unions are pressing for safeguards whenever AI tools are introduced to make sure workers aren't just pushed aside.
Okay.
And globally, governments are experimenting with measures like job impact assessments whenever AI is rolled out.
Okay, I'll be honest. So far, sounds kind of grim. Not such great news. But is it all bad news?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. There are real risks, job loss, skill mismatch, inequality, but there are also opportunities. AI doesn't just replace tasks. It can also create new jobs, new roles. Think about AI ethics officers, prompt engineers, or trainers who teach machines. Like 5 years ago, those jobs didn't even exist when we think about it.
Yes, that's true. So the challenge is maybe how to prepare people for kind of this shift, this change.
Yeah, exactly. It's less about will AI replace all jobs and more about how will jobs change and how can we adapt?
I think that's really important. So let's get practical. If I'm a listener, employee listening to this, what can I actually do to prepare?
Well, first, I would say we need to build some AI literacy.
What do you mean by that? Because, I am so not a computer person.
Oh, me neither.
I know the basics, but I can get around. But, does that mean we have to learn programming or coding or stuff like that?
No.
Oh, thank goodness.
You don't need to do that,
Okay.
but you should learn the basics of how AI is used in your field, in your own field. So you can treat it as a tool, not as a threat. So we don't become slaves of AI.
Right. We definitely don't want that. We want to be in control. So what else?
Well, second, invest in human skills. We talked about people skills that we built over a long period of time.
Yes.
So these are really important. Like creativity, communication, critical thinking. These are the skills machines struggle with, thankfully.
Yes. Thank goodness.
Yeah. They will only become more valuable.
These human skills.
Yeah.
Okay,
because
okay.
we want to communicate with people, right? We need the empathy and we need the active listening skill and we do question, right?
Right. Absolutely. So anything else?
And stay flexible. Careers today are less about one fixed path and more about constant learning and reinvention.
Yes.
So the people who adapt and reskill over time are the ones who stay ahead.
Oh, adapt and reskill. I like that. Well, that's on the employee side. What about for employers?
Well, companies need to be transparent. That's the most important thing.
Okay.
If AI is being introduced, explain how it changes roles. Provide reskilling opportunities. Otherwise, you just create fear, and that hurts productivity.
So... as you were saying all this, I was wondering about this stress, these types of situations, that the stress that it creates. It can't be easy working in a situation where there's kind of this gray cloud over me.
Oh yeah,
this uncertainty.
It's daunting, isn't
right,
it?
Right.
Yeah, you're right. And this uncertainty doesn't just stay in people's heads. It shows up in the workplace. That's the problem. Some employees hesitate to share ideas, worried that their roles will soon be automated.
Okay.
Others overwork themselves trying to prove they are indispensable.
Trying to do too much.
Yeah,
Yes.
both reactions take a toll on morale. And what's changing now, though, is that companies are starting to frame mental resilience as a core skill for the AI era, just as important as technical know-how.
Mental resilience. Okay, Well, do you think that AI will end up maybe, destroying or taking over more jobs than it creates ultimately?
Oh, we never know. Even economists are divided on this. Some predict major displacement. Others argue technology historically creates as many jobs as replaces, just in different forms. That what's clear is that the transition will be bumpy. It won't be easy. That's why preparation by individuals, companies, and governments it's so important.
Ah, yes, yes. So if we had to give our listeners like the key takeaways, what would you say?
Well, it's inevitable. AI isn't going away. It's already here. The question isn't if it will change jobs.
Yes.
But how? How will it change? So if we treat it as a threat, we risk fear and resistance.
Yes.
If we see it as a tool, invest in new skills and demand fair policies, it can actually open doors to more meaningful work.
Well, that was a lot to, of course, take in. But, AI, I feel like it can be an opportunity to kind of check ourselves too.
Yeah.
Like, are we, doing the most that we can be doing? And instead of feeling nervous.
Most people at work, they use AI, right?
Yes.
So it's already here. Yeah.
Can't avoid it.
We cannot resist the changes, but how to use this AI and technology, that is important. If we rely on it too much,
yes,
it may do more harm than good.
That's true. And Umberto chiming in saying, yes, flexibility and adaptability. The question is, will you adapt? Because some people, let's face it, are a little stubborn.
So resistant.
They're
right?
resistant. They're kind of set in their ways. And this sometimes has nothing to do with age. It can just be who you are as a person, right? And so for those who do resist the change or who are just inflexible, not flexible, they're not willing to adapt, then, it might be much more difficult in the workplace for people like that, right?
I mean, we don't need to really study everything in depth, but just knowing what's around and what's available.
Yes.
I think that is important, just to keep track of these things.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely. I mean, at least be in the know so you appear like at least you know what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, we're going to call it a wrap today, but of course, we'll join you next week. So thank you for coming in today and have a wonderful fall day. Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. This was Jennifer. So we covered so many things today. We talked about that summit between President Lee and Prime Minister Ishiba yesterday. It happened in Busan. And also, we talked about Chuseok and how we are looking forward to Chuseok. Maybe not the driving and the prices, but it's coming up real soon. Morning Wave in Busan. We have our producer, Cho Ye-ji. We have our assistant producer, Kang Ijin. And we have our writers, Haley Seo Kim. They do all the hard work behind the scenes all the time. So a big shout out to them. And I'm your host, Catherine. I'll be back to do it all over again tomorrow. Final song for today is 10월의 어느 멋진 날에 by Kim Dong-gyu. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.
뜨기 힘든 가을보다 높은 저 하늘이 기분 좋아 휴일 아침이면 나를 깨운 전화 오늘은 마음은